Hello everyone. So today we are going to do a small practical on DevOps, and it will be a very interesting practical. You will enjoy it. And before starting this practical, I will suggest you please go through my previous task, previous task which I have performed. This one. This is the we are doing the same task, but the approach is different. Okay, I will explain the everything, but first of all, if you haven't watched this video, please go to my channel and watch this video. Now let's move to the flowchart of this task that we have to follow, and we are going to do complete setup for this. What I'm going to use one Linux machine, and I'm using a Red Hat Linux, and this is the Minikube where my Kubernetes cluster is running. And what I'm going to do, I will be inside the Linux system. Over there, kubectl is already configured. So kubectl is a command from which we can contact to the Kubernetes Kubernetes clusters. So from here, kubectl command will pass to the master node, and they will create one pod for us. In this pod, Jenkins and kubectl is already configured. And why we are doing this? You can do this part in Docker container also, but the challenging part is that if container get terminated, then you have to do the complete process from starting. Here you can use the PVC and everything so that you won't lose any data. But I'm not using PVC here, but keeping in mind, I'm using the pod so that container loss, container are terminated, then it get automatically launch, because we are using deployment resource here. So when this pod launch, in this kubectl is already configured, so this will contact to the master node of a Kubernetes cluster. So we are using a Minikube. So Minikube is a single node Kubernetes cluster. So here master node and slave node both are same, both act as the same. Master act as a slave also. So it will pass, means Jenkins is running here. Jenkins will pass the kubectl command from here, from pod 1, and it will go to the master node, and they will launch the pod 1 and pod 2. In this pod 2 and pod 3, our web server is running, and from here client can access the web server. And this Git and GitHub role comes when developer push the code to the GitHub repository. Then Jenkins will automatically pulls the repository files in Jenkins workspace. So here Jenkins use the PolSCM. We are using PolSCM. So what PolSCM do? PolSCM go to the GitHub server. Over there, in every 1 minute it goes to the GitHub server, and over there it will check if a developer push or uploaded that code on a GitHub repository or not. If yes, then it will run the respective job. If not, then it won't. And further the process I told you, that same process they are going to do. So first of all, we have to create this pod 1, this where in this pod kubectl is configured and Jenkins is also pre-installed. As soon as we run this pod, then we can use the Jenkins service. So let's start the practical part. Hope you understand the workflow of this complete practical. Let's go. So I'm here. I'm using Red Hat Linux, so I will use kubectl get pods. show me the pods. It's saying there is no pods running. So first of all, I will show you the YAML file which I have used to create this pod 1. You can also say that manifest file. Sorry, not here. Here it is. This is the YAML file which we are using. Alright, showing like this. This is this one. So we are using a API version v1, and so that it can contact to the kubectl can contact to the cluster, Kubernetes cluster, and giving the name kube service, and we are using service called node port, so that we can access what you can say Jenkins using this port number, this node port. So what this node port do, when we use this node port, it will redirect to the 8080. Our Jenkins server is running on 8080, so we can access the Jenkins. And we are using deployment, so it will again create the files again for us, not a file for if a pod get terminated, it will create or launch a pod again for us, because behind the scene it uses replica set. And I'm using this Jenkins image, Jenkins Kubernetes image, which I have launched on Docker server. Let me Docker hub registry. Here it is. So it will pull the image from Docker Hub, and they are going to use it in creating the container inside the pod. Okay, so let me show you this image which I have created, Docker file. I will show you the Docker file which I have used to create this image. This one, this is the Docker file. Right, show like this. Okay, so what is written in Docker file, that I want operating system CentOS, and I want to update our yum, want to use the OpenSSH, and want to give the container password and username is root and password is Red Hat, and giving this I'm giving so that we can access or access the Docker server through SSH. For SSH login we are doing this, and further we are configuring and installing the kubectl here. We are downloading the kubectl, you can see here, and configuring it. So as soon as this pod get launched, it will it is going to automatically it will launch or run the kubectl command. You can run the kubectl command, and but it won't run because we need over the config file and all to contact to the that Kubernetes master node. And here we are installing Jenkins, Python, Git and Java. We are using Python because we are going to use a Python script to send a mail to a developer, and we are using Java because on top of Java only that Jenkins is going to run, because without Java they will not run. So we need a Java, and here I am giving the location from where it can download the Jenkins, and installing Jenkins, NetTools, Python, nested widget, this all. VIM for editor and all, you can write something, notepad type. And here we are giving sudo power to a Jenkins so that it can come inside this pod and run the full commands whichever he want. And finally at a boot time it will automatically run the Jenkins service. So this is the Docker file which I have used to create the image, which I already uploaded on my Docker Hub registry. Now this part is done. Now let me launch a pod, kubectl. Okay, let me go out. Okay, kubectl create -f file, which file name, and Jenkins one, this one. Okay, so it's created. So it is around 600 to 650 MB, so it will take around 5 to 10 minutes according to the internet speed. Now kubectl get pods. Okay, so it's running perfectly fine. I think some file is already there in my system, so they like a cache, you can assume. So it's taking that only, so it's running very good. Let me use this 108 minikube IP is this one, minikube AP, this one's where our Kubernetes cluster is there. We want minikube IP, this one, so that IP only we are using, and the node port which we have given, that I am typing. So you can see here Jenkins service is running. Jenkins is running inside that pod. I haven't gone inside this pod, but they are running. Okay, now let me go inside this pod, execute -it and pod name and bash. Okay, so now I am inside the pod, and now if I type a kubectl command here, kubectl show me the pods, all pods, it won't show. Error from the pod is forbidden, and this all message come. Why? Because for contacting to the this Kubernetes master node, for Kubernetes master node, Kubernetes cluster, you need credentials. You need to configure. You need to create a configuration file. Otherwise, this Kubernetes cluster won't access you. That's why you can't able to pass this command. kubectl is configured, but you can't contact to the Kubernetes cluster. So for this, you need credentials. So I already yes, so I already copied the credentials in this system. These are certificates and all. This all comes in a cryptographic part. Okay, so we have to copy this in this one here we have to copy. So I'm copying kubectl get pods, because I have to use the pod name kubectl copy. And what do you want to copy? This file name, and where you want to copy this in here, and location in root. So it's copied. Same for this file and this file, client crt and client.key, client.crt and client.key. So this is done. Now we have given this password or credential, but we have to create a configuration file. What is configuration file? That whenever we run this kubectl command, whenever we run, it always first go to the configuration file. Over there it looks, it search that where is the location of this all files. So we have to create that file. So I already copied that part also, ls-ale. That file is hidden, so that's why it's showing we have to use ls-ale. This file, this one, we have to use this one. Inside this our configuration file is there. So kubectl get pods, okay. And now I have to copy that kubectl I already written, I will use that only. And now I will use a .cube. Okay, copy .cube directory. This is a directory. Okay, we have to go inside and give the password. We'll use so that we can access Jenkins. So kubectl execute -t. I want interactive terminal of this pod bash. Not found. Okay, I wrote a wrong spelling. Okay, now I'm inside the pod. Now let me check that is that file copied or not. You can see all three files are there, but why .cube is not showing? Because that file is hidden. You will get here it is, ls .cube. Let's go inside this directory. I will show you the configuration file. This is it. So every time whenever we run kubectl command, kubectl search for this configuration file, and it search where is my server, where is my Kubernetes server, what is the location of my certificate authority, this file, this credential file, password, public key and private key, that you can say it. What is the client key, client certification. So we give the path of everything, so that kubectl can use this and can and can contact to the uh, Kubernetes cluster. Now let me go out and clear, and now I want a password of this, so copy in this location. I will get the password, cat command to show yeah, this is the password. So we'll use this suggested plugins, so it will take around 10 to 15 minutes. So I will start this part and move to show you that which file we are going to use for this. I will show you that. Yeah. For this pod 2 and pod 3, which YML or which manifest file which we are that we are going to use, and what developer is going to push to the GitHub, and what file is there on GitHub, so that we can use in this pod 1, pod 2 and pod 3, because the code comes and code goes to the web server for directory, and then from web server your web server is running, then client can access the web server. So we'll see all the files. So there it is in a repo, your GitHub repository. So this is the HTML, means the code which we are using is which we are going to use is in HTML and one in PHP interpreter. So you can assume that developer push the code of HTML and also of PHP on GitHub repository. So let me show you the manifest file which we are going to use. So first we are creating a PVC so that we can get the persistent storage. If any container any pod fail, we won't lose any data. So we are creating two PVC, one for logs and one for web server files, that is for that file which we are getting from developer. And we are using the service which is called node port. So what node port do? It will redirect us to the web server 80 port. Our web server run by default on port 80, and we are using resource one called deployment. Deployment do the what you can say, behind the scene it use the replica set, so that if any pod get terminated, it will recreate it or it will launch again. And this we are giving the labels and all. If we don't give the labels, so they won't get the power of monitoring, because every time the pod name changes, so we give labels for that reason. We are using the image, this one. This is simple code or simple what you can say, this image is created with simple dockerfile. I will show you that also. Let me show you. This one. So we are using CentOS operating system, and we are using here already installed HTTPD, PHP, Means as soon as we launch this container, or we launch pod, means we launch container, then automatically this HTTPD service will get started. So you can access using the port 80 because it is exposed and it's running in background. Okay, so container is running inside the pod. So that only I shown that this image which we are using and mounting the path. This is for log, and this is where our web server code is reside. Now let move to the PHP code YAML file. This pod 3, this one. For this one you can assume this pod 3. For this we are using same as it is, means copy of it, you can say it, same code which we had seen previously. Only the thing changed are this one, that node port, and this container name and all that we change. Rest everything is same. And the code which we are going to use for HTML, sorry, not this one, this one is very simple code. You can see here you can see that I want body of that web server is yellow. I want header this, I want header this one, I want header of size 3 of this one, and using alignment, colors, and a simple code is I have written. So we are going to use this. And for the same I have written for PHP. In PHP language I have written the code. You can see here it will it will first give the background color of to the web server orange, and then it will run the welcome to automation, DevOps automation, and then it will run ifconfig command. What is ifconfig command? This is ifconfig, this one. So this will show the IP and your Ethernet and everything, every details it will show you. Okay.
So now let's move to that our Jenkins installed all plugins or not. Yes, you can see admin page came, admin password. Yes, you can use yes. Okay, so Jenkins is ready, and one more thing I want to show you that we are going to use a Groovy script for creating the Jenkins job. So before I explain the Groovy script, let me download or install one plugin so that we can write the Groovy script in it. So we want a DSL plugin. So let's say job DSL plugin. It's loading. Sorry, not DSL, it's DSL. This one. So as this get downloaded, let me show you the Groovy script which I have written this way. So this is like a JSON only, you can assume. So first we are creating a job 1. It will pull the repository files from GitHub, and then it will store in the workspace area of our pod, where this one here I will show you. Okay, here okay. Let me create one directory named workspace. Okay. So it will save all the repository files which are coming from GitHub. It will save here, and here it is using a poll SCM trigger, means for after it will go for every 1 minute, every 1 minute it will go to the GitHub server and check is there any new file came, or any editing or something happened to files. If yes, then it will run this job. And now job 1 runs successfully, then job 2 will create. This all job will be created by the Groovy script only. This script, when we run this script, then this job will create it. When job 1 successfully run, so here we are giving a trigger which we call chaining between job 1 and job 2. You can see as soon as job 1 runs successfully, then it will run, that you can see success. After getting running successfully job 1, it will run this job 2. And here we are writing a code that if in this location which I have shown just now, if you find this .html, this one, if you find this one, then search for the pod name, that is HTML. Okay, in a pod get deploy, over there you will get the details of a deploy pod. So if you get that pod HTML name, then echo that HTML pod is already running. If it is not there, then create a pod for us. Run this file. Run this file, html.yml. Same as it is for PHP code. Same. Then job 3 is what it is doing. It copying the code from in the web server location. This is the web server location. So which are the code? These are the code. Index.html, index.php. So these are the code that are going to copy in the container where our web server is. Web server directory is there. So what first it do? It will get the pod name, then it will sleep, wait for 5 seconds, then it will copy command. I have shown that how we do copy. It will copy all the file which have .html extension in the pod location where www. So this is for HTML and this is for PHP. Now the job 4 part comes. Suppose if any web server is not running, then something is there in the code, then error is there in code. That's why that web server is not running. This might be one possibility. We are assuming that. So we are creating job 4. So what this job 4 do? There is a chaining between job 3 and job 4. There is a trigger, and The first it will check the status code of this URL. What is status code? Status code tell that is your web server running or give when your web server is running, it give the status code. So if status code is 200, then your web server is running perfectly fine. And if your web server is giving for not 4 or 500 or 350 or anything else rather than 200, then your web server is not running. So it will store this status code in status1 variable, and it will cross check if status1 is equal to 200, then echo server 1 is online, and if it is not 200, then echo that server 1 is offline and run the Python script. The Python script which I have shown here, this one. I can't show the code because my what you can say Gmail credentials are all given. So they will use or they will run this script, and they will send the mail to the developer, and then they will run same as it is for PHP code. This, so we are using two pods here, one for HTML and one for PHP, you can say. So that's it. In this is the Groovy script which we are going to use in Jenkins. Let me see. Okay. Let me log in again. So it's loading. Okay. So we'll build a job for this script. We'll name seed job, freestyle job project. It's loading. I think my internet speed is not good. Okay, now it's loaded. So here in a build step, your option come that I have to use job DSL, and I want to write the DSL script. Here I will paste the code which I have just now explained you. This one. So I will copy this code and paste it here. And let me check once. Okay, everything is fine. So save successfully, and now we'll run this job. So this job, seed job, is going to create 4 jobs for us. We can see it's building, it's starting. Right, refresh. You can see here 4 jobs created, and Let me do some changes in here so that it can automatically run the command, sorry, run the job. And here I give extra one more exclamatory symbol. This is it. Okay, so it's my first commit. I'm not using Git, so because it's the video is becoming too longer or lengthy. So now the job 1 will start automatically because the whole SCM we are using over there. So error is coming here. Let me check. Okay, it's already exists, they are saying. Let me delete all the okay. Actually error comes, then you understand more. So now let me move to the this part. Let me do again some changes in code. Now let me add here some exclamatory and here. Second commit. This video is becoming so longer, so that's why I'm not using Git. So let me refresh it. Okay. So it's run successfully, I think. What it's showing. Yes, it's run successfully. So previously it was showing some conflicts because of PVC. So let me access this web server 108 and node port is 300. This one, yes, you can see here. I think this, yes, again this job run. Again they are going to run this job. Again they are running. Because we had done changes again, that's why they are running again. And you can see here with zero downtime our web server is running. Let me do the same IP, and the node port is here 301. Okay, some error, page is not working. Okay, I intentionally written a wrong code here in PHP. In PHP, I intentionally wrote a wrong code so that it can send a mail. Here, colon comes, but I haven't given the colon. Let me check the mail. Okay, 3 mail. Okay, previous also they are previous pod also they were not running. Here you can see 0 minutes ago and 10:28 and I received at 10:27. And what's the message? Web server is not running, debug the code. It's very powerful. So one web server is not running and other one is running perfectly fine. So let me do one thing, change again. I want to change again it. correct the code. Let me correct it. Okay. For this is first commit. Okay. Now let me refresh. I will show you that what came inside these jobs when we run this seed job. I will show everything. You can see that you can see job 1 automatic started because of PolSCM, because some changes are editing or push code is pushed by developer. Job 3 is also started deploying the code in the web server location or a directory. Let me refresh. Is it deployed? No. As soon as it gets successfully deployed, we will see the web page here. Yes, you can see here this one. It's came. But I already shown you that ifconfig command and welcome to DevOps automation. It's came. And this one is running perfectly fine. And now, if they are running perfectly fine, no. So there is no need to send a mail to anyone. So it won't send any mail. Okay. So that's it. And I will show you the job that every job that seed job created. So what they created, we will go inside and see. You can see the description came. They given the GitHub project URL, GitHub repository URL, PolSCM, and also the workspace. And let me show you the second job. Which I explained you everything that in a Groovy script. Everything is there. Here you can see a trigger chaining between job 1 and job 2. You can see I explained this part already. So we just run this one job and everything is done. Description came. Chaining between job 2 and job 1, job 2 and job 3, sorry. And here they are copying the code. Okay. Move to the job 4. So this is the job 4. Okay, and you can see here same as it is, everything is perfectly fine. Okay. Okay, here close. Okay. Oh no, here URL 2 comes. That won't impact anything, but everything is okay. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this session, and there is no downtime we are facing here. You can see here changes done. This is the IP of our container. Okay, so you can access the this code which I have used. I will share the GitHub link in the description of this video, and also the article on this complete practical, so you can go through it. You can go through this the article of this task, and also you can practice it. This. Thank you for watching.